I'm Anderson with the RBC.
And I'm Arnav Joshi with the RBC. And the executive producer of this RBC film is none other than Rocky Joshi himself, who is currently asleep.
But we'll have a short coverage of the Puppy Bowl later in the show. Be sure to stay tuned for the cutest, friendliest rivalry ever.
This is a special broadcast about the Olympic Games. Today we will cover their events, their origins, and even their culture behind them. The Olympic Games consist of 67 different sports, split between the summer and winter. Now for a brief history lesson. The first Olympic Games derived in ancient Greece, in the city-state of Elis, in the northwestern Peloponnese, almost 3,000 years ago.
The Games were a religious festival created in honor of Zeus, the king of all Greek gods.
There was only one event in the first Olympic Games, the sprint race, and there was only one winner chicken dinner.
The winner was bestowed an olive wreath instead of a gold medal.
The olive leaves that make up the wreath came from a sacred olive tree that dwelled in the temple of Zeus.
In 146 BC, some 2,168 years ago, the Roman Empire invaded ancient Greece.
During the Roman occupation, the Olympic Games, the spirit of the games slowly dwindled. When Emperor Theodosius I rose to power in 393 AD, he banned the Olympic Games and other festivals that did not promote Christianity.
So the Olympic Games died after 12 centuries.
In the late 19th century, the Olympic Games came back to life after about 15 centuries.
Let's talk more about the Olympic Games history.
We talked about the revival of the Olympic Games in 1896, but who was really behind this?
Well, the answer is Pierre de Coubertin.
He was a baron who encouraged physical activity.
He was inspired to create the modern Olympics after viewing the birthplace of the Olympics, that being Olympia, Greece.
The baron proposed restoring the Olympic Games to the Union of Athletic Sports.
He founded the IOC, or the International Olympic Committee.
The IOC has governed the Olympic Games ever since it was founded.
Now some information on worldwide events disturbing the Olympic Games.
The first event was World War I. This canceled the 1916 Olympic Games.
World War II canceled the 1940 and 1944 Olympic Games, and the COVID-19 outbreak canceled some of the games, including the Summer Games in Tokyo in 2020.
Talking about history, this year's Puppy Bowl will go down in it. Team Fluff snatched the Lombardi Trophy, coached by the infamous Snoop Dogg. Congrats to all the great pups that played with fantastic sportsmanship. Now that our executive producer, Rocky, is awake, let's have some symbolism talk with him. The Olympic flame represents the brightness of learning and the light of life.
It symbolizes the harmony and goodwill of humans.
The Olympic flame is always handed down through generations during the torch relay, which is the build-up to the year's Olympics, which always personally gives me an adrenaline rush.
The Olympic flame is then used to light the Olympic cauldron.
The honor is given to an individual who represents the nation hosting the Olympic Games.
Now the mascots.
The Olympic mascots create a lively atmosphere for the Games.
The mascots stand for ingenuity, imagination, creativity, and inclusiveness.
The mascots are usually native figures representing the country's culture hosting the Olympics.
One reason mascots were created is to promote the Olympics to younger children.
Now the other side of the story. In short, Olympics also made mascots for their greed to earn lots and lots of money by drawing in customers. Just kidding, but they did do this with a nicer intention, like funding the Olympics costs and whatnot. Now the Olympics have not always been positive. There have been and still are some issues, ethical issues.
There are two parts to this.
The first one is unfair play.
One aspect of this is performance-enhancing drugs.
Olympians taking performance-enhancing drugs, otherwise known as doping, originated in 400 BC.
The first drugs were certain substances that were extracted from plants and mushrooms.
Athletes took these drugs because a winner in ancient times got everything.
Fame, money, a house, and they even didn't have to pay taxes or serve in the military.
During the Roman occupation, riders fed their horses drugs to run faster.
Gladiators took the drug to create a more exciting and bloody performance for the audience.
Most of the other ethical issues are similar to this.
Since cheating in sports became more prominent as the years went on, The officials had to do something about this integrity loss.
In the February of 1968, the International Olympic Committee introduced doping tests to the Olympic Games. The IOC created the Code of Conduct and the Olympic Oath to protect the Olympics further.
These two systems followed one common idea:
the Olympic movement, which is divided into two parts, including the Olympic ideals and Olympism.
The Olympic ideals revolve around the idea of brotherhood, peace, righteousness, joy, and even physical and mental well-being,
while competing alongside and outside the field of play. The ideals also reflect a sense of harmony throughout the Games.
Olympism is symbolized as respect, friendship, and excellence.
These two ways of respect form the utter integrity sports need by building a foundation for the Olympic movement that promotes education and knowledge to make the athletic world better.
Now that you know the history of the Olympics, this last topic will be on the differences throughout the centuries.
One of these differences is the sheer amount of countries currently participating.
The increase of these countries has shown to be more prominent on my graph in recent years.
Another difference that occurred is the change in the number of events.
As time went on and technology developed, new sports started to be developed.
Though there were only 9 sports beforehand, there are now about 67 different sports with over 400 events in total, with thousands of competitors. That's impressive, don't you think?
Sure thing. The second to last significant change is the number of female athletes joining the Games and becoming Olympians.
When the Games were born, there were absolutely no female competitors, but they compete in basically every sport to this day.
This is a significant improvement in the inequality sense of the Games.
Finally, our last important thing is the changes in the improvement of tech.
A current example of this fact is the Beijing Winter Olympics of 2022.
Since there is not much snow there, and since it is a vital element for the Games to move forward, they took control of the weather themselves. Just kidding. And again, man, am I on a roll. It is impossible to take control of the weather, but it is not impossible to create snow. That is right. They somehow made the white stuff from outer space that falls out of the sky on Earth. Psst, someone should just keep an eye on them just in case.
Nevertheless, because of this monumental advancement, the Games could go on. So that's the end of our show.
It was enjoyable to talk to you guys about the Olympic Games and host this amazing show. I added that so that maybe Rocky could give us a raise.
Yeah, a raise would be nice.
So that is that, and this has been a flawless show by RBC Productions.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.